Time for business now. Kate Moody joins us, starting with a legal victory for the city of Paris in its long-running battle against Airbnb. Do explain.
Well, Mark, Europe's top court has upheld an existing French law which imposes more regulations on holiday rental platforms like Airbnb. It opens the way for other European hotspots to do the same, as Luke Schrago reports.
Anyone letting out their flat on rentals platform Airbnb in Paris does require authorization from local authorities, something Europe's highest court has ruled is consistent with EU law.
Combating the long-term rental housing shortage constitutes an overriding reason relating to the public interest justifying such legislation.
That legislation applies to the Paris region and French cities with a population of over 200,000 and with primary residences forbidden to be rented out for more than 120 days a year. It's part of efforts to prevent platforms like Airbnb from pricing out locals in favour of more lucrative tourists. Paris had fined 2 landlords under the law, sparking an appeal that went right up to the European Court of Justice, with French authorities now free to continue fining those in breach of the rules. City Mayor Anne Hidalgo welcomed the development.
This victory, awaited by many cities, marks a turning point for the supervision of seasonal rentals and constitutes a step forward for the right to housing for all.
While Airbnb said it welcomed the ruling and that it wanted to work in collaboration with local authorities, the service now faces the possibility of similar action in at least 22 other European cities. Such tourist hotspots as Barcelona have long fought against the platform, accusing it of destroying the city's social fabric, and have sought to regulate it in line with other services in the rentals market and push it to take more responsibility.
Let's check in on the day's trading action now. Some recovery after Monday's steep losses. Wall Street turned higher. The S&P 500 snapping a 4-day losing streak, closing up about 1% there. The tech-heavy Nasdaq outperformed. It closed up 1.7%. Shares of Amazon led with gains of over 5%. Investors boosted in part by a jump in existing home sales in the U.S. Data showing August was the strongest month for the market since 2006. It was a mixed, rather muted close for the major European indices earlier, just the CAC 40 ending below the flat line here in Paris. The heads of the U.S. Federal Reserve and Treasury Department have urged American lawmakers to cooperate on a new stimulus bill to help businesses and families recover from the coronavirus pandemic. In testimony to a congressional panel, both Jerome Powell and Steven Mnuchin expressed cautious optimism that the economy is rebounding. But Powell said that Congress would have to spend more money to protect industries that are still suffering, like hospitality and travel. And Mnuchin said that Republicans were ready to resume negotiations on another bill.
I think the next package should be much more targeted. It should be focused on kids and jobs and areas of the economy that are still hard hit, particularly areas such as the travel business and others, restaurants. I think there's broad bipartisan support for extending the PPP to businesses that have had revenue drops for a second check. I think small businesses are a large priority of that.
Many analysts, though, have warned that growing partisan divisions could make progress difficult before the November election, while previous aid packages are running out. Moving on to some of the day's other business headlines now. France's foreign minister has defended his role in scuppering a planned merger between luxury giant LVMH and American jeweler Tiffany. Jean-Yves Le Drian said he was well within his rights when he sent a letter urging LVMH to delay the deal and consider the implications of looming tariffs. Reuters has reported the letter was sent at the request of the French president's office. On Monday, a U.S. court ruled in favor of Tiffany's request that the two sides should go to a speedy trial. Proceedings could begin in January. Thousands of British consumers living in the EU could have their UK bank accounts shut down by the end of the year. Barclays and Lloyds are among the lenders who've contacted retail and business customers about the pending changes. They say that if the UK and EU don't reach a trade deal by the end of the Brexit transition period, they will no longer be able to offer financial services to them. And Facebook is preparing for possible chaos and violent unrest after the U.S. presidential elections. The head of the global affairs for Facebook told the Financial Times that the social network has plans in place to restrict content in such an event. The company and other online platforms are facing scrutiny over how they police and control the spread of misinformation in the run-up to that high-stakes vote on November the 3rd. Mark, this was a really dire scenario being outlined by that Facebook executive. It's being echoed, of course, by other observers, but really acknowledging the role that social media has to play, especially in this election.
Indeed, and it has to be held responsible. That's key to the matter, isn't it? Kate, thank you very much indeed. Kate Moody with all the business.